Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today is 24th August 2023. My name is TSV Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. This is my spiritual vlog on YouTube. Hardan, 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 Haribol, TRSV, Nectar, NECTAR, Nectar. In this particular vlog, in all my previous videos, we have been discussing about the knowledge and information that we have gleaned through the study of spiritual books, scriptures, contemplation on the material universe, and meditation on the spiritual universe. This particular video in this vlog is no exception to that rule. In fact, it is a mere continuation of all that has been happening in all my previous videos till date. It is a mere continuation of all that we have been doing in these videos. Hence, kindly subscribe to this vlog and press the bell icon so that I may keep reminding you of my other videos, both past and the future ones that are going to come. Thank you. Let us continue with the topic of discussion for today's video. For the past few videos, we have been discussing about how this society is divided into the 75% multitude of human living entities and the 25% human living entities who have crossed over from their 75% in their past births into this 25% of those living entities which have at last realized that they have not come into this world to lord it over the material nature or to float around like zombies, but to act for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as eternal servants of God. In other words, these living entities at last realize that they are actually eternal servants of God who initially were just spirit sparks ejected out of the spirit hole, came to in touch with the material world and thus became spirit souls, got entrapped into four layers of material body, that is, The first layer being causal intelligence of logic, the second being the astral mind of feelings and emotions, third being the etheric body of senses being sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch, and the final one being the gross body that they are identified with in this material world. This gross body, as we all know, is made up of four elements of nature which have come out of the first element, ether. These four elements are air, fire, water, and earth. When this ordinary human living entity, which till yesterday was in the 75% multitude of the society, has now entered the elite 25% bracket, realizes then it realizes its true self. Its true self is that of a spirit soul which has become a living entity. Once this fact is realized, then the same human living entity, which is originally a spirit soul, becomes an eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When it surrenders itself completely to the Supreme Personality of Godhead based on its own evolvement, this spirit soul is given an assignment according to its spiritual evolvement. In other words, the assignment that is given to a human living entity, which is originally a spirit soul, depends on destiny, karma, and evolvement of that spirit soul. It is not necessary that anyone who thinks that he or she is an eternal servant of God will get any assignment without finding out whether he or she has the capacity to carry it out to the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, out of the 25% humanity which has realized its true nature as a servant of God, 20% are bestowed with only material assignments, whereas the top 5 are the ones who are assigned with spiritual assignments. Spiritual assignments are assigned or bestowed to such exalted souls which later become saints, monks, heretics, meditators, contemplators, rishis, maharishis, evangelists, angels, celestial beings, transcendental beings, demigods, godmen, sattas, and other living entities from the other dimensions. This is an extremely exalted position to which not every living entity from the 25% category may come to unless and until he or she is evolved enough to take up any assignment in this 5% category. In the past few videos and in today's video too, we will be talking only about the 20% category among the 25, those who are given only material assignments. While we were discussing about this theory, we gave a lot of importance to a term called focus. Getting an assignment, whether material or spiritual, is no ordinary right or power or capacity of a living entity. It is the preserve of the elite. Not that everyone will be given an assignment. In fact, even when a living entity enters the fringe of this 25% category after coming out of the 75% multitude, it will take a lot of time for this person to get matured enough to take up an assignment. This is because God feels that the living entity must be qualified enough to give the due respect to that assignment. Any material or spiritual assignment from God to a living entity is a responsibility. Just like one surrenders himself or herself completely to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a living entity who has got an assignment, whether material or spiritual, has to surrender himself or herself completely to that assignment. Assignment like genius and money is a very jealous mistress. She will not brook any opposition or distraction from the living entity who it has been bestowed on. In other words, unlike the cases of ordinary circumstances where a person goes about his or her paid or unpaid job, when it comes to an assignment, it will not stop till it becomes an extension of that living entity and it becomes a way of life for that living entity. As for example, those achievers, both material and spiritual, may have been able to show to the multitude that they are completely involved in their own respective assignments. These assignments may be that of a professional, a businessman, a monk, a saint, a rishi, a maharshi, and so on. You would have noticed as a common man that these people spend 25 out of 24 hours a day thinking and living only that assignment. Any carelessness, complacency, or distraction from a living entity towards that assignment will have very unhappy results. Hence, it takes time for an assignment to grow into any living entity. It does not happen overnight. It does not happen even in one lifetime. Suppose you got an assignment, a material assignment from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As soon as it happens, God first takes you into deep waters, not to drown you, but to clean you, so that you may be ready to take up that assignment. Once it comes to you, it starts growing into you slowly and steadily. It is not necessary that the same assignment will become a part of you in one lifetime. It is possible that you have started working on it, but it is not necessary that you will succeed in making it an extension of your own psyche. It may take several lifetimes. That is the reason why some people who are very good in their chosen profession or business look so intelligent and successful to the others that the others who are envious of their success feel that these guys have been given some God's grace. No, the same people were as ordinary as you and I, but not in this lifetime. They were so in their previous lifetimes, and there was one particular moment where this assignment had entered into their endless cycle of birth and death in some previous lifetime. Once it had done so, this person had started working on getting totally colored by that assignment, totally besotted and oh, totally besotted towards that assignment and falling in love with that assignment completely. The efforts to do so would have begun several lifetimes before, but we do not know. Once this happens in a lifetime, this living entity reaches one stage of that assignment in one lifetime. The work in progress of that lifetime is added to his or her destiny in another lifetime, where this person becomes a sort of seeded player in the sense that he or she begins to work on that assignment in a future lifetime. As for example, A gets an assignment in one lifetime. This is just the beginning. He or she begins working on it and allowing it to grow into him or her. it is not necessary that he or she will succeed in that particular lifetime. However, he or she would have reached a level in doing so before passing on in that lifetime. When this happened, the efforts that this person or this human living entity took in this lifetime will not go waste. In fact, it will be stored in his or her sanchit karma and kept in his or her superconscious memory to such an extent that when he or she starts another lifetime with his or her prarabdha karma, the same work in progress is added to that prarabdha karma, and so this person looks like a seeded player. That is the reason why this guy is more successful than those who are just beginners in their respective assignments or fields. As for example, there was one guy called Mandolin Srinivas. This guy was a child prodigy. He began fingering or fiddling with his mandolin, which was owned by his own grandfather. And this guy, even as a child of three, could and this guy could play this mandolin at the age of three so perfectly that it took everyone by surprise. Thus, this boy began performing publicly at the age of 5 or 6. This showed that this guy was a child prodigy, but we must realize that it was only the culmination of his work in progress in that particular musical instrument several births ago. The guy became a child prodigy only because his prarabdha karma had all the storage of his sanchit karma of work in progress in that particular assignment. That was precisely the reason why he became a child prodigy. Today we shall discuss about one case history which will give us a better idea about this particular theory of focus. There was a peasant family in one village in Tamil Nadu state of India. Though this peasant family went about its farming business and agricultural business, it was indeed a fact that the several of the current generation were musically gifted. They were instrumentalists, singers, poets, lyricists, and music composers, even in that particular village, which these guys used to their hilt. These guys were extremely talented musically, so much so that even at an early age, these guys began giving public performances. The third son in this particular family was born on 2nd June 1944. This boy was christened Jnana Desikan. It is the case history of this particular boy that we are going to talk about in this particular video. Jnana Desikan's father named him or renamed him as Rasaiya when this boy began going to school. This Rasaiya gradually turned into a term called Raja. This boy was musically gifted and he belonged to the category of those living entities who have been working upon their assignment as musicians from several births before. That is, this living entity, which was born as Raja in this birth, had got this assignment several lifetimes before, and he had been working on it with such dedication that here in this particular birth he came as a seeded player in an extremely musical family. Raja was further renamed as Ilaya Raja by a film director. Ilaya means young. There already was a Raja who was a singer in the film industry of Tamil Nadu in India. This boy was extremely young, hardly in his early 20s or late teens. So this guy became the young Raja, that is Ilaya Raja. This guy, who started as just a stage performer along with his brothers and went about village to village, town to town, continuously performing on the stage, became a music director in the Tamil film industry in at the age of 19 or 20. This guy was so gifted musically that his first film became a legend. People were surprised as to how such a young boy could do wonders in music in the film industry. This boy was so gifted that he would give several versions of every song in one language and give several versions of the same song in another language at a time, and then remember several decades later which version was selected by which language. Such was this boy's genius. In fact, this boy or this particular music composer has been recognized as one of the greatest music composers of the film industry internationally. He is recognized even in the European Philharmonic, Phil, Philharmonic Orchestra. He is an extremely talented music composer, singer, and instrument player, especially the violin. He has such extraordinary talent that he has composed music for Tamil, Telugu, Oriya, Kannada, Malayalam, and Hindi films, besides for other languages, including probably English language. He is extraordinarily gifted, and his life story tells us how a person can succeed in making his material assignment in a particular field an extension of his own life. This guy, Ilayaraja, does not bother about anything else other than music. So much so that when he was a busy music director, he was forced to avoid even his own family. His aging mother and his children were being taken care of by his wife while he was concentrating only on music composition in several languages. Ilayaraja has received several accolades and awards in music composition in several languages where he has composed music for several regional films and Hindi films. He is recognized the world over, as I have already mentioned. He is considered to be one of the greatest men who happened to the music industry in the films of, of India as well as abroad. This guy was bestowed with some of the Indian government's odd honors, namely Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan. This guy is literally worshipped and respected by not just a few thousand but by millions from all over the world, regardless of the fact that they know the Tamil language or not. They only appreciate his genius. A poor rustic boy from village, from a remote village in Tamil Nadu, has made such a name for himself only because some several lifetimes before he got an assignment which he conscientiously worked on and came to this level. Same is the case with another such gentleman. There was a music arranger with the same Ilayaraja who died young. This particular music arranger was a very talented and loved music arranger. He had one son who was christened as Dilip Kumar. But after some time, when this guy died, his wife remarried one Muslim man, and thus she renamed Dilip Kumar as A.R. Rahman. One particular Muslim saint told her that now that this boy has been named as A.R. Rahman, he will touch dizzy heights in his chosen field, that is music. A.R. Rahman is also such a living entity like Ilayaraja. He also became a seeded player when he was born in this particular lifetime just because he had also worked on his assignment several births ago. That is, several births ago, he got an assignment on which he had been working on day, birth after birth to such an extent that he was born as the son of a music arranger who was working with none other than Ilayaraja. Even as a child, A.R. Rahman spent several days, months, and weeks in Ilayaraja's studio playing music instruments, including the keyboard. When Ilayaraja became extremely busy, he referred the name of A.R. Rahman to another film producer in Tamil. A.R. Rahman composed the music for that film called Roja, which became an international blockbuster. A.R. Rahman's first film was a blockbuster. There was no looking back for him then. Just like his own mentor Ilayaraja, A.R. Rahman also became a living legend and an icon in the music industry. He is a singer and also a composer plus a keyboard player. Both are quite close to each other and both have succeeded and reached dizzy heights in the music industry in India. A.R. Rahman, despite his very young age, has achieved several accolades, awards, and honors from both India and abroad. So much so that one of his songs was nominated by the Oscars of America, and this boy received an Oscar. This is no ordinary feat. Both Ilayaraja and A.R. Rahman reached such dizzy heights of fame only because they surrendered themselves completely to their respective assignments and refused to get distracted from it. As I had mentioned, this assignment is a very jealous mistress. Only complete focus and dedication which will make you reach some level of success in one lifetime through that assignment. Otherwise, if you get distracted, this assignment will turn away from you. We all ordinary living entities must take a leaf out of the lives of guys like Ilayaraja and A.R. Rahman and should realize how important focus is when it comes to completing a, an assignment which was given to us by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to His satisfaction. I may not be able to convey my messages properly, but I apologize for that. However, my intentions are clear. I want to enlighten the viewer about how important it is to become totally resigned to his or her aim to achieve success. That is all I wanted to tell in this particular video. Kindly let me know what you think of my talk on this particular subject. Please give me your expert views, thoughts, and opinions so that I may blend everything together for the sake of this society. Before concluding, I want to tell you that I am also a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan.